In his spiritual exercises, St. Ignatius of Loyola introduces us to what he calls the principle of contrary movements. When we become aware of the affective state of our souls, how we feel, particularly consolation, desolation, the movement of God that encourages us and gives us support and excitement and enthusiasm for serving Him, or the contrary movement of the enemy that discourages us and tries to dissuade us and distract us from the things of God. When we become aware of that contrary movement, God encouraging us, the Spirit of God exciting us to follow the Lord, and the enemy, the spirit of Satan, discouraging us and distracting us, then what happens next? Well, it's that principle of contrary movements. If we are indeed intent on following the Lord, intent on moving from good to better in the spiritual life, as Ignatius terms it, then we can expect that God will encourage us. The Spirit of God will give us encouragement and excitement and enthusiasm, and we should follow that. If, on the other hand, we find discouragement, disillusionment, distraction, then we know that's not of God, because the enemy wants to keep us from moving from good to better in the spiritual life and will do anything to stop us. Oh, we should recognize that for who it is and do the exact opposite. The principle of contrary movements is this: if it's God's Spirit speaking with you, follow it with enthusiasm. If it's the spirit of the enemy speaking to you, then run in the opposite direction. Don't do what he wants. This is one way of bringing into daily life the lessons learned in prayer and the discernment of spirits. We can learn through those things that give us courage and faith and hope and love, those things that draw out the best of our virtues, where God is prompting us to go in life, how God is prompting us to act, the relationships God asks us to maintain. On the other hand, those things, those actions, those places, those relationships that cause us to run away from our virtues, those are the things that the enemy wants us to pursue. The Spirit of God and the spirit of the enemy work in opposite directions. And so should we, if we're intent on following the Lord. Follow those things that are of the Spirit of God, and run away from those things that are of the spirit of the enemy. And then we'll know God's grace and peace in our lives.